Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky said Tuesday that it is impossible to talk about Ukraine without Ukraine ahead of the upcoming meeting between Russian President Vladimir Putin and U.S. President Donald Trump in Alaska. The conversation between Putin and Trump may be important for their bilateral track, Zelensky told a youth forum in Kiev. But they cannot agree on anything about Ukraine without us. Absolutely, we will have a meeting at the leadership level of the three countries. I don't know the date. If we want to end the war, it will happen, he added. According to Associated Press, Putin and Trump are set to meet in Alaska on Friday. The summit will focus on the conflict in Ukraine, which raises concerns about excluding Ukraine from peace negotiations. The Ukrainian leader has categorically rejected any deal with Moscow that could involve ceding land after U.S. President Donald Trump suggested such a concession would be beneficial to both sides. Russia currently holds shaky control over 4 of the country's regions, 2 in the country's east and 2 in the south.
Volodymyr Zelenskyy.
Слава Україні! Допомагає та підтримує. Передусім
дати йому мікрофон. Перше питання логічно почати з людини.
Доброго дня, шановні друзі, тут присутні. Доброго дня, пане президенте.
Що стосується перемовин, в будь-якому випадку вони важливі на рівні лідерів. Але говорити про Україну без України неможливо і ніхто це не прийме. Тому розмова президента Сполучених Штатів і Путіна, безумовно, може бути важливою для їх двостороннього треку. Але нічого про Україну без нас вони прийняти не можуть. І я дуже вірю і надіюсь, що президент Сполучених Штатів це розуміє і усвідомлює.
Говорів залежить майбутнє України. У цьому контексті моє питання просте і серйозне. Якими для України є ті червоні лінії?
Безумовно, у нас буде зустріч на рівні лідерів трьохстороння. Я не знаю дату. Якщо ми хочемо закінчити війну, так воно і буде. І там будуть підніматися ті чи інші питання. Стояти на правді, на своїй правді. Безумовно, робити все, щоб ця війна закінчилась. І є речі, які є у тебе в серці, є речі, які є у тебе в Конституції.
European Union leaders will speak with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky and U.S. President Donald Trump ahead of Trump's planned meeting with Russian President Vladimir Putin on Friday, the European Union said on Tuesday. According to Associated Press, European Union spokesperson Ariana Podesta said during a media briefing in Brussels that there will be tomorrow a call between EU leaders, President Zelensky and President Trump, in view of the bilateral meeting. The EU said it remains committed to supporting Ukraine and maintaining pressure on Russia through sanctions, which it is working to expand. Officials stressed the negotiations are confidential. Trump is scheduled to meet with Putin next Friday in Alaska to discuss ending the war in Ukraine. On Gaza, the EU said progress on aid access remains limited, citing new Israeli restrictions on NGOs and shortened re-registration deadlines, which was not the case in the past. All this is bringing more and more obstacles in delivering the aid, said EU spokesperson Eva Herntsarova.
Today, we are in a situation in which there will be tomorrow a call between EU leaders, President Zelensky and President Trump, in view of the bilateral meeting that President Trump has called for Friday with President Putin. Let me remind you that at the same time, the EU is extremely active on all fronts to support Ukraine and put Ukraine in a position of strength.
And as per usual, will not be able to go into details. All the negotiations are obviously confidential, but the key and core element remains our pressure on Russia works. This is why they want to get rid of our sanctions. So this is why we're continuously working on adding more sanctions to our packages.
And implementing the understanding is her priority at the state.
It's necessary to say that there is a progress, but it's far from an ideal scenario, and it's still very insufficient. Israel is imposing some administrative issues, restrictions to the NGOs and our partners, which means that the re-registration deadline was shortened to 7 days. Israel also requires a list of people, which was not the case in the past, and all this is bringing more and more obstacles in delivering the aid.
An anti-Putin protest rally is being organized in Alaska ahead of the meeting between U.S. President Donald Trump and Russian leader Vladimir Putin to be held in the U.S. state on Friday. The rally has been organized by non-government organization Stand Up Alaska and is scheduled for August 14th, the day before the U.S.-Russia Leaders Summit. The organizers of the event have expressed their opposition to the visit by Vladimir Putin, whom they described as a war criminal. "We rally against the presence of an international war criminal in our great state. With the governor's approval, the president has extended an invitation to Vladimir Putin, and we're here to send a clear message to both Donald Trump and Putin. Alaska stands firmly against authoritarianism," the organizers said in a statement. Earlier, Alaska Governor Mike Dunleavy welcomed the forthcoming meeting between Trump and Putin. "Today, we remain a gateway for diplomacy, commerce, and security in one of the most critical regions on Earth. The world will be watching, and Alaska stands ready to host this historic meeting," Governor Dunleavy stated. The upcoming meeting in Alaska will be focused on reaching a peace deal to end the war between Russia and Ukraine. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelenskyy last week condemned Kyiv's exclusion from the Alaska summit. Zelenski also ruled out that Ukraine would cede any land to Russia in exchange for the end of hostilities. Ukraine and its allies believe that US-brokered peace deal might force Ukraine to make territorial concessions to Russia. Last week, the US media reported that Washington and the Kremlin were preparing for a peace deal that would cement Russia's gains in Ukraine. In Sumy region, the invading Russian soldiers trying to advance on land encountered resistance from Ukrainian fighters in the water as well. Russian paratroopers attempting to cross a river in a small boat became targets for Ukrainian drone operators. The boat was destroyed by shells fired from drones, and 3 paratroopers on board were eliminated.